sometimes they will switch those people. We saw this year in the women's, I believe that for Jamaica, of course, America won this year, but Jamaican women, actually, they took Elaine Thompson-Herah off the second leg. She ran a great second leg, but they took her off the second leg for the final, and she didn't run in the finals. And if I'm correct, the fourth leg for the semifinal, which was Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, I believe they moved her from the fourth leg, which is a straightaway, to the second leg for the final. So in their fourth leg, they had Shericka Jackson, which was the 200-meter champion and second in the 100 this year for World Championship. So, of course, they were going to make those changes. It was a surprise for me to see Elaine Thompson-Herah moved off, but those were some other issues that I think that are going on within their camp. But those handoffs need to be as close to perfect as possible based on who you're running against. So for an 8-year stretch, the Jamaican women and the Jamaican men, actually 12-year stretch, the Jamaican men and women, you could not make any mistakes against them because they were top notch and they had the records. I think the Jamaican ladies still have a record also. And you could not make any mistakes. The margin of error was really small. So when you see these funny clips of these people coming up and doing different things, like you'll see China for the ladies. I did not remember this clip being this long. I've seen it before, but I was surprised that it was as long as what it was, because the Chinese ladies several years ago, they made the mistake on the handoff from the third leg to the fourth leg. So going into that final leg, they made a mistake, and the lady ran past they didn't get the exchange done. They didn't exchange the baton before the exchange line. So instead of just going ahead and passing the baton and going through, the lady on the fourth leg told her, hey, let's go back, and we're going to go back and get this right. So they went back, and they went back several times. And I was surprised at how many times that they went back to the actual exchange zone, and they kept messing it up. And the race was over pretty much, but they went ahead and finished the race, but they wanted to get it right. And I'm not sure exactly why they did it like that. I think they knew that they were going to be disqualified, so they wanted to just make sure that it was right. But it was almost as if they were practicing. They weren't running it like it was the final. And the only thing I could think of is if they were punished or something like that, if they were punished for doing it wrong. But I do know this for a fact. I do know that the other countries, when they medal, they get more money than the United States. The United States, out of all of the countries that are participating in track and field for the Olympics specifically Olympics, the other countries pay more money. Most other countries pay more money than the United States. I think the United States pay, I think it's $50,000 or it's $75,000. I have the breakdown, but I think it's $50,000 for the gold, and then it goes down for silver. I think it's 25, and then maybe 15 for bronze or something like that. Or maybe it starts at 75 and goes down. It's not 100,000 for the gold. It's not that much, but some of these other countries pay. A few pay over $100,000 for those. And then I think for a world record, you might get close to 100,000. I can't remember if that's country specific, but I think it's just worldwide. A world record garners a certain amount of money. I think it's 100,000 if I'm not mistaken. And then your country might give you a bonus on top of that. I think that's how that works. But there's definitely an amount of money exchange in there. But I want to thank Miss Watson. She brought that funny clip to me about the Chinese team. She mentioned that, and she stated, hey, break this down because it's a really funny clip. But it was way longer than I anticipated it, or it was probably 30 seconds longer than I anticipated. But I do remember seeing a part of it, and I don't know why they kept doing it. I'm not sure why they did it like that, because that same thing happened. Sometimes the relay team will just stop, but the same thing happened with the men this year in the World Championships. I believe, I can't remember what country it was, but they were probably in lane 5 or 6, and they just stopped. Meaning the fourth leg, I don't think he didn't cross the line. He didn't continue to the finish line. Once they passed that line and he knew that they weren't going to make the exchange, they turned around and they just basically stopped. They didn't finish it. So I give that to the Chinese team, the ladies Chinese team in the 4x100. They finished the race, kind of like the guy that got injured years ago in the distance race, and his dad helped him over the finish line. But yeah, it was a particular country. I want to say it was in the finals this year for the world championships, and it was in the finals or the semifinals. And that team, they just basically stopped because once he went past the line, I mean, it wasn't anything else you could do.